Yes.
I just have some information, sorry, on this program. I checked it on the internet and I looked at their link on here. What they're doing, it's a website that is set up. If you are interested in participating in this program, you put in your information. They give you guidelines they ask you to look into before you decide to go in this program. There's information you have to put in, what time you leave for work, a bunch of different items. It's really is a good read to go on and look about this. To look into this. There's, as far as I can see, there is no financial assistance that they're asking for. The other municipalities, it looks like they just, as Deputy Mayor Meloche indicated, they support this program. So I will check into it to see if there is some kind of link we could put onto our website and maybe direct them to individuals to this website as well.
Thank you. Yep.
I'm just getting information.
Excuse me, unfortunately,
Councilor Bjork.
I have to back this up.
Okay.
I'm not available October 26th. I thought it was in November. As a matter of fact, I'm not around.
I can come, but I might be a +1, a tiny one. I hope I'm a +1.
He or she won't be able to speak, though.
Item 9, committee meeting minutes. A, Essex Center BIA meeting from June 9th, 2015.
Deputy Mayor Meloche, Councilor Caxero, any questions? All in favor? Motion carries.
Item B, Arts, Culture, and Tourism Committee meeting, September 9th, 2015.
Councilor Snively and Councilor Bjorkman with a comment.
Yeah, I'd just like to say, I was reading through and they were talking about the summer concert series, and it was wonderful. The work that got put into that to have all of the acts they had, I think I only missed 2 this summer in Essex Center, and they were very well done. I think it's a great idea to have an MC next year that they're looking at that will just make it that more professional. And if I can throw my 2 cents, and I would stick with Pass the Hat. It's once you've got an MC and you have somebody who can, halfway through work the crowd and start that, it's very beneficial to the groups. But it was wonderful this year. I thought they did a great job.
Thank you, sir.
Did you call the question?
We voted.
I didn't have
All in favor?
No.
Motion carries.
Item C, Committee of Adjustment meeting, August 18th, 2015.
Moved by Councilor Caxero, supported by Councilor Vokes. Any questions? All in favor? Motion carries.
Item D, Colchester Harbor Steering Committee meeting, September 10th, 2015.
Councilor Snively and Councilor Caxero. Councilor Snively?
I sit on this committee along with Councilor Coxero. One issue that come up here was we all know Colchester Marina is a fishing marina. We all know that. And there is one person that has some equipment, okay, that is available for live bait down there. And I think if we could give Doug Sweet direction to proceed to get a price from this person. I talked to Doug on it already. If we can get Doug to get a price and come back to council with a price on what it would take to buy a couple of these tanks and the aerators and the whole system to keep live bait down there. I think that would be a plus for our harbor down there. Thank you.
Mr. Sweet?
Your Worship, as Councillor Snively says, it was a recommendation in the minutes that administration look at other options. And that is one option we're already looking at. So we are looking at that option and anything else that may be feasible.
Thank you. Deputy Mayor Malash.
Through you, Mr. Mayor, to Mr. Sweet. So are we talking like putting a building down there for this?
Through your worship, at this time is brought up the last meeting, so we're just seeing the feasibility of the space and equipment, the cost, and then we're going to do a report back to council.
Thank you.
You, Councilor Snively.
Through your worship, I think the building that's down there right now, I think there's room at the east end of that building. We could put live bait in there. But the thing with live bait is the person that I'm speaking about, he had a business down there, and he's willing to come down there and show staff how to take care of live bait. So, but one thing that live bait needs down there is in the summer is air conditioning. It's got to be a cold unit there. So, anyways, I'm just suggesting that we go ahead and look at it and get a cost, and then come back to council. Thank you.
You. Anything further? All in favor? Motion carries.
Item E, Essex Police Services Board meeting, September 3rd, 2015.
Moved by Councilor Caxero, supported by Councilor Bjorkman. Any questions? All in favor? Motion carries.
Item F, the Essex Flooding Advisory Committee meeting, September 10th, 2015.
Moved by Councilor Bundy, supported by Councilor Vokes. Any questions? All in favor? Motion carries.
Item 10, bylaws, bylaw number 1451, being a bylaw to enter into an agreement between the Corporation of Town of Essex and the Amherstburg Police Services Board for a 2-year extension to the rooftop agreement for operating and maintaining communications equipment.
Moved by Councilor Bundy, supported by Councilor Bjorkman. Any questions? All in favor? Motion carried.
Item B, bylaw number 1452, being a bylaw to amend bylaw 1435, which is a bylaw to regulate, license, and control animals within the municipal boundaries of the town of Essex.
Moved by Councilor Caxero, supported by Councilor Snively. Any questions? All in favor? Motion carries.
And I'll skip over C to item D, bylaw number 1454, being a bylaw to regulate the rate of speed on the 4th Concession Road in the town of Essex. And this will be to change the 60-kilometer speed limit from County Road 11 right through to County Road 23.
Moved by Councilor Snively, supported by Councilor Bundy. Any questions? All in favor? Motion carries.
And bylaw 1455 being a bylaw to amend 4 procedural bylaws for the town of Essex. And I'll just note to council, what this bylaw is amending is that we will have all the bylaws at the end of the meeting prior to the adjournment. That way, the confirming bylaw will be the last item discussed at the council meeting.
Moved by Councilor Bjorkman, seconded by Councilor Vokes. Any questions? All in favor? Motion carries.
Item 12 is new business. Councilor Caxero wanted to discuss the speed limit on County Road 13.
Councilor Caxero.
Through your worship, we recently finished the project on Dunn Road, moving, for those that aren't familiar, Dunn Road used to hit Erie on an angle, traveled behind County Towing and County Collision to a point further north on Erie Road. It now comes out at a 90-degree angle to the south of County Towing. But the speed limit reduction isn't until where Dunn Road used to hit County Road 13 or Erie Road. It still hits there, but that's a one-way street, and the bike paths that come through on Dunn onto Erie are further south. So it only makes sense to push the 50 zone back to where Dunn now hits Erie Road. It's probably, Chris, what would you say, 400 feet? 300 feet, something like that. So basically, in corresponding with Chris, I'm sure you guys were copied, we have to request, because it's a county road, we have to request the county to look at this. So I'm going to move that we request the County of Essex to move the 50-kilometer zone on Erie Road further south to the south side of County Towing, where the new portion of Dunn Road meets Erie Road.
Moved by Councillor Caxero, supported by Councillor Bjorkman. Question on Councillor Snively.
Through your worship, I think this is part of the trail system anyways. It's all connecting to the trail system, correct? It goes into Dunn Road behind, so it connects into the bike and walking path there. So it only makes sense. I'm going to support it. It only makes sense because it all ties in together, and we're going to go from there right out to Colchester anyway. So you're like, I don't even think it's 300 feet, to be honest with you. I think it's a couple hundred feet. And yeah, I would like to see us move forward on this. It only makes sense. It's part of the trail system. Thank you.
Director of Infrastructure and Development, Mr. Nepsey.
Through your worship, yeah, Councillor Snively is correct. The paved shoulders on Erie were completed last year up to that portion where the new Dunn Road connects to County Road 13. So it's just a formal practice, their best management practice requests that the council, the local council requests the county to look at reducing the speed limit. So this is the right direction to take. What I would, I guess, maybe request as a friendly amendment is for the county also to look at some type of formalized crossing, pedestrian crossing at that location, since the paved shoulders do end there and you're looking to get those active transportations users from those paved shoulders to Dunn Road. It'd be nice if they looked at some type of pedestrian crossing there, whatever is called for within their manuals, but I'd put that as part of your ask.
Councillor Caxero.
I'm absolutely fine with that, so you can make that part of the motion that they look at the pedestrian crossing in that area also.
It's taken care of, sir. That's okay with the seconder? Right. Anything further? All in favor of the motion? Motion carries.
Item B, Councillor Caxero, foxes and coyotes in Ward 3.
Councillor Caxero.
Through your worship, I received a call from a resident, and it's kind of ironic because I have seen 2 or 3 fox probably in the last couple weeks out in our area there around the village, and they're not just coming out at night, they're coming out during the day. He's just concerned for whether it be small children playing, small animals left outside. So he wondered what the municipality could do. I offered to bring to council the concern, and I would suggest that it might be prudent on our behalf to maybe put out a media release in the papers, on our website, as such to maybe do an education piece with residents, make sure they keep pet food properly stored, and don't leave it out at night to attract the fox and coyote coming in. I don't think at this point there's really anything else we can do other than maybe an educational piece, but I think that would be worthwhile to do something like that.
Donna Hunter.
Through you, Your Worship, on Friday after we talked about this, Cheryl and I went looking and doing a little bit of research. The Ministry of Natural Resources and Forestry has a tip sheet, if you will, on the do's and don'ts. Perhaps what we could do is reference people back to that, maybe even create a little page on our animal control section of our website that speaks to this and then pushes people over there. But we can certainly put something together.
Okay, Cheryl.
would it be possible to also do a media release, just to let people know that there's a little bit of an issue, it's been brought to our attention, and then at that point direct them in that fashion?
Certainly, we can do that.
Councillor Snively?
Through you, Your Worship, this is an ongoing problem. You know what? I don't know how we can get rid of them, for one thing, because there's many coyotes. Like, I know firsthand because I used to raise birds, and I lost 50 birds, and I got 50 more birds, and I said, I put up different type of fencing. They got in there, I lost another 50 chickens. I lost 150 chickens. Once a coyote comes in, coyotes, they run in packs. So I don't know how you're going to get rid of coyotes. They have 8 to 10 pups. I don't know how you're going to control it. The only way we used to control it years ago was they used to hunt them, and then we used to have bounties on them. Okay, and there's a few people that do it today. Anderson's one of them out our area, and he shot 30-something coyotes last year. There's so many of them. I don't know how you're ever going to solve the problem without them coming in your yard. Believe me, you're fighting an endless battle there. Believe me. Thank you.
Okay, anything else? Folks?
I think, Larry, you should have raised road runners instead of chickens, and you could have fought back.
Item C, Councillor Caxero regarding Communities in Bloom.
Councillor Caxaro?
Through your worship. It is with great pleasure, and Deputy Mayor Meloche sat on Communities in Bloom, I think, previous term of council. Unfortunately, I guess it took me going on to the committee for us to finally win the award nationally. Sorry, Deputy Mayor Meloche. No, I got to say, and I don't know how involved Deputy Mayor Meloche was previous term. I certainly, not 1 year into my term, can I take any credit. The committee is a very hard-working committee. The committee is very solid. It's people from all 4 wards. I have said it in the past. I'll say it again. It's probably the committee we should be most proud of in our municipality because it brings all 4 wards together. They do a tremendous amount of work, and it paid off. They've won the national award for our population bracket, and that's something to be commended. So I believe it's been set up, or it's going to be set up, for them to come to council at our next meeting, and we can appropriately get some photos and whatnot with the award. Something that we should all be very proud of, and something that we should be bragging about. I know Amherstburg was on the radio this morning bragging about their 5 blooms provincially. We actually won the national award in our category, so I think it's very much to be proud of.
Thanks, Bill. Deputy Mayor Meloche?
Thank you, through your worship. I know I've got to say something here too, and I was going to say something similar to what Councillor Caxero was going to say. I was going to say that I guess I just didn't rub the judges the right way over the years, but in all honesty, it's been a lot of hard work, and it's not just the committee is very focused, and that's what I like about that committee. They're all there for the right reason. They all work together very, very well. They all know our entire community inside and out, and there's experts on every corner of our community on that committee. I've got to say, though, the big part of being able to attain this level of being the #1 community in Canada in Communities in Bloom, administration has to buy into policies and procedures that suit what Communities in Bloom is all about. And I've got to say that there's been a real change over the last 10 years is with administration on that aspect. I believe our community is very well taken care of, and I think our Community in Bloom judges realize and are showing our council that we not only have a good committee, but also our administration has taken it upon themselves to live by those standards, which are very high standards by any means. People first getting into this program, if they can get 3 blooms out of 5, you're doing fantastic. And there's been a number of years where we've been 5 blooms, similar to what Amherstburg was in the provincial, and 5 blooms in the national. But to be the #1 dog out of all of Canada, very proud of this committee and the administration for doing that. Congratulations.
Councillor Caxero.
Through your worship to Deputy Mayor Malash, the secret to winning over the judges is homemade wine.
Item D, Councillor Vokes, e-bikes on Urquhart Trail.
Yeah, the only reason I'm raising this is Doug has already looked into it, but I just want to make a note of it, that it's been mentioned in council, just to give, not that Doug couldn't handle on his own, because he is moving with it, to get the assistance for Doug, because there has been a little bit of a problem with e-bikes on the Urquhart Trail and people walking. I've received a couple complaints, but I just want to go on note that council's aware of the issue to give Doug some support on that. That's it. Thank you.
Thank you. Councillor Snively.
Through your worship, e-bikes are not allowed on Urquhart trails. No motorized vehicle is allowed on there. Horses are, and people walking. So, I don't know what the, huh? Yeah. But I don't see where the issue is here.
There really isn't no issue. I just want to go on record. So if
Okay.
we have to reflect back at a certain time and place, it's on council minutes as discussing it. If somebody was ever hit or hurt, it's in council discussions as raising it. Thank you.
Okay. Community Services Director Doug Sweet.
Just to add on that to Councillor Snively's question, it's correct, there's no issues. Councillor Vokes brought it to my attention. We know that part is Urquhart Trail, so we just want to notify them the complaint so they're aware. So we've made that contact and just waiting for feedback.
Thank you, sir.
Item 13, notice of a motion. A, Councillor Bondi, Healthcare Services.
Councillor Bundy.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. And if I may, after this, I have an announcement about the high school after this, which I didn't add to the agenda, but I think should be acknowledged. I just, as an elected official in our municipality, I have some concerns about provincial funding in terms of healthcare. The province is supposed to be 100% supportive or 100% responsible for all of our healthcare services. But if you've been paying attention to what's going on in the media, we're seeing that doctor cuts to financially compensate doctors is happening in our province. And we all can say, well, doctors make a lot of money and, but who wants to get a pay cut? The reality is, at the end of the day, if anybody told us we were going to get a pay cut, we would not be happy. If anybody told teachers they weren't going to get a pay cut, they would strike. Yet we have to remember that doctors invest a lot of time and energy in their education. They're also responsible for their staff. They're also responsible for all of their bills. And they're responsible to see their patients. And their workloads are increasing, especially in southwestern Ontario. We're seeing that caseloads are getting higher because we have an aging population. We do not have a youthful population, unfortunately, here. So caseloads are getting bigger, and the province needs to step up to the plate, in my opinion, because if they don't, what could happen, and what we could foresee happening, and hopefully we can lobby them to stop this, is our doctors could retire earlier, or our doctors could move out of province. No other province has unilaterally cut healthcare costs, just like our provincial government. So I want to nip it in the butt, and I want to do everything we can here. We have the health center coming and approaching us for money, which isn't in our municipal jurisdiction. So we have our hands full here, and I just think it's appropriate for our council to ask the province to say, you know what, we have an aging population, and when you're going to cut funding to doctors, you're going to see cuts in services. When I go see the health clinic now, I see every time I see, this service is no longer funded, this service is no longer funded, and our wait times are longer, and it's a slippery slope that we're headed down, and it's the wrong time. So I'd like to see if I can get council support to ask that the town of Essex requests the provincial government to invest more into local healthcare services. because we have an aging population, and for so many other reasons, right? So just looking for, yes, please, looking for a seconder.
Councillor Snively supports. Any questions? Councillor Vokes?
Thank you, Worship. If anybody's been following the media, what's been going on in terms of the healthcare in the, especially specifically in the Essex County region, it's been known that very well-announced, very profound doctors in our region with years and years of service are being capped at $350,000. And in that $350,000, one would suggest that's a lot of money. It is, but it's not, and the reason it's not is because that $350,000 has to be dispersed in terms of the lease of their building. It has to be dispersed in terms of their office staff. It has to be dispersed in terms of any lab work they send out they have to pay for. There's a host of different initiatives put on that $350,000. The truth is doctors in the region, many of them, are making that of a worker in any factory today. And that's what, as we all sit here today, as so graciously Councillor Bondi has highlighted, that's what we're going to be subject to. That's why you go into the clinics and you wait as long as you wait. You can't get tests done. You're sent off to have lab work done and things done at other places. There's just no money for doctors to work with. And the province seems to have money for everything other than the health and the concern of the citizens. So one could say it's just a little agenda she's on and a self-proclaimed issue she has. That's not true. It's a provincial problem all the way across that's affecting every person that we represent, and it goes back to fair representation to our constituents outside of municipal issues, to seniors, to those who aren't as fortunate as some of the rest of us. So we do have to do something, Sherry, and we have to do it as expeditiously as we can. We all know that. We all know that. So how we do it, I just don't want to do something that is just like a reflex, like, okay, here's the letter, right? Another letter that just ends up in a shredder by some clerk that works for the Wynne government, because that's what's going to happen. It goes through the shredder. It has to be something with a little more teeth to it than just a letter. Somebody should be right there discussing it with us, what they're going to do in terms of the constituents in our municipality and make sure health care is number one.
Deputy Mayor Malash.
Thank you, through your worship. There's a couple of things I got to speak on here. As far as healthcare goes, I do sit on the Windsor-Essex County Health Unit, and we have received an additional almost $1 million funding. What they've done is, for Windsor-Essex, what they've done is they've redistributed the way they give their money out, because we were one of the lowest funded health units in the province out of some 40 health units across the province. That's just one thing in fairness to what's happened with some of the health here, which is going to help tremendously to bring us up to where we need to be, closer to where we need to be anyway as a health unit. But I totally agree with the doctors' wages that we're talking about. I do know that when young doctors come on board, they're wined and dined by not just Ontario municipalities, but they're also wined and dined by other provinces. And by the moves that the province has made at this point in time, it's going to make it very hard to attract young doctors that are just graduating to stay here in Ontario. They're going to be looking at Michigan, they're going to be looking at Alberta, they're going to be looking at the East Coast, they're going to be looking everywhere else because they're paid better in those other locations than what they are here in the province. What's happened is the province has said this is the pool of dollars that we're going to spend on doctors' wages and services over the next year. This is the total sum of dollars. Now what happens is when they hit that total dollar amount, they stop paying doctors. It could be 1 month before the year ends. It could be 2 months before the year ends. It just depends on how many billings happen in the first 10 months or 9 months of the year. The other thing that happens is doctors don't get paid for their services until a month after they've actually done the service. They submit all these bills. The province, and no matter what agency you talk to, the money coming back from the province, and I'm sure that we've seen this with grant monies and so on. It's the same with our EMS for the county. It's the same with social services. It's the same with the health unit, the hospitals, you name it. The province is very slow at handing out the money, even once they say that they're going to pay you that money. So what's happening is These doctors are going to be doing work, they're going to have no idea whether they're going to get paid for the work or not. They're going to bill and find out, oh, sorry, there's no more money left, we can't pay you for all this work that you've done. Sorry, that's the way it is. The other thing that Councillor Vokes was mentioning was all these expenses. They're self-pensioned as well. There's no government pension for them. There's no company that pays their pension for them. Out of that, whatever money they make in a year, they have to set up so that they're provided for in their old age as well. So, and I know that there's a lot of people without pensions, but somebody who has 8 years of university and 2 to 8 years of training before they can become a doctor, I think they should be provided some kind of pension, and we should pay them a wage that provides them with some kind of pension. So, all of good reasons why I agree with everything that's been said here tonight, but I do agree with what Councillor Vokes is saying. It's too bad that we couldn't put something together more formal that says, wow, what are you guys doing? You trying to bring us back to where we are 10 years ago with doctors? Because that's basically what's going to happen. You're going to just see a downtrend in the number of doctors that we have over the next 10 years, right back to where we were 10 years ago.
We're seeing it now.
Yeah, you're going to start seeing the effects right away, and I'm very, very upset about this. I've been trying to promote it as much as I can on Facebook that this is wrong what the province is doing. I personally have sent a letter to Dr. Hoskins, who's the Minister of Health and Long-Term Care, saying like this is unacceptable, and I wish more people would do that. There's a website you can go onto on the computer. You go into the internet. You go to long-term. You can go into Minister of Health for Ontario. It'll bring you to their web page, and there's a comment page in there, or question page, and you can go to that box and you can just sign in, and it allows you to put a comment into whoever you want to, and usually it's Dr. Hoskins who's the minister. So if anybody's listening, please take advantage of that opportunity. Tell Dr. Hoskins what's wrong. Thank you.
Councillor Vokes?
In terms of that $1 million, Councillor Malash, if you look at that $1 million and you just go to the Windsor-Essex Health Unit and look at the offices in the region and you divide that, that works out to $25,000 per office. And that's just the offices registered through the health unit. So if you bring them all into it, the government is so graciously giving everybody about $1,500. That $1 million really doesn't mean nothing. It's just a passive way of pacifying people. I think we should, the truth is, I'm going to put a motion for that in terms of what Councillor Bondi has.
Yep, Councillor Vokes, we have a motion.
Oh, I'm sorry, I apologize. I would like to put an amendment to the motion and that we send it to Essex Council. County Council, I'm sorry.
Okay, that's okay. Councillor Bondi
Yes, as long as we have a beefier motion.
and
I got a whole bunch of stuff here.
Councillor Snively, that's okay with you? Friendly amendment, okay, thanks. Okay, anything further? All in favor of the motion? Motion carries.
Oh, Mr. Mayor, can I make an announcement about this?
Yep, Councillor Bondi.
If I may, just in terms of Harrow High and the situation, the trustees are boarding a bus this Wednesday, and they're coming through to view Harrow High School around noon. So I know this is probably airing after that, but for council members that are here and anybody that wants to send out an email to their contacts, we're trying to paint the town white and blue and get out your Hawk Spirit or get out your Save Harrow High School signs, and just to really show community support on Wednesday. Positive support, not negative support, and just show the trustees what a nice community Harrow High School is.
You say you want us wearing white?
White and blue.
White and blue? Yeah. Okay, thanks. Councillor Vokes?
Thank you, Worship. I think we should do just the opposite, to be quite frank with you, Councillor Bondi. I think nobody should be there. Let them know that they really don't hold much value with the community. That's what we should be doing. Just nobody show up, because they want that. They're striving for that opportunity. Say, hey, look what we're doing. They want that big parade opportunity of that somebody really cares what they think. The street should be empty, because it really don't matter what they think, to be quite frank with you. We'll talk about that on the 13th.
We're going back to item 10C, bylaw number 1453, and that's the confirming bylaw for the proceedings of this evening's meeting.
Councilor Bjorkman moves, supported by the mayor. Any questions to the motion? All in favor? Motion carried.
Item 14 is the motion to adjourn.
Councilor Vogts, Councilor Texera, any questions? All in favor? Motion carried. Have a great night, everyone.